Welcome to Area and Volume Unit 3, Lesson 1, Circumference and Diameter of a Circle. So by the end of this lesson, you'll be able to describe the relationship between the diameter and the circumference of a circle. You will also be able to calculate the circumference using the diameter or radius and vice versa. Let's remember with the circle, we have the distance around the circle, which is called the circumference. The distance from one side through the center to the other side is the diameter, and from the center to the outside is the radius. To find, we have a formula we can use, so circumference equals pi times diameter, which is the same thing as 2 pi r, because 2 times the radius is the same thing as the diameter. And in my picture here, we can label the radius from the center to the outside, and the diameter, which is from one side all the way to the other side through the middle. So in our formula, C is circumference, D is diameter, and R is radius. We're going to use this formula today to solve problems. For example, if we were given the circumference of 24 pi and we need to find the diameter, I'm going to use the formula circumference equals pi times diameter. I'm going to use what I know. So I know the circumference, so I'm going to substitute 24 pi in for C, and I'm going to solve for my unknown, which is D. In order to do that, I need to divide both sides by pi. When I do that, my pi's reduce, and I'm left with 24 equals D. So the diameter is 24 inches. On the next one, I see that I have circumference and I'm trying to find the radius. So I'm going to use circumference equals 2 pi r. I'm going to substitute what I know. I know my circumference is 18 pi. I'm going to bring everything else down, 2 pi r. And I need to solve for r. So to do that, I'm going to divide both sides by 2 pi. 18 divided by 2 is 9. Pi divided by pi reduces to 1, so we're left with 9 equals my radius. Let's look at a couple more examples. In this first one, I am given the radius, and I need to find the circumference. So I'm going to use the formula circumference equals 2 pi r. I'm going to substitute what I know. I know my radius is 8. I'm going to bring everything else down, and I'm going to leave circumference as C. Now, in these problems, we want to leave our answer in terms of pi. So we're going to leave pi there. We're not going to use the pi button on our calculator. We're just going to leave it in terms of pi. So you'll see pi as part of our radius. Here we're going to do 2 times 8 because we can multiply those numbers together, where we get 16 pi. Our circumference is 16 pi. We are going to leave that. That is the most simplified form. When you enter your answers into the practice, you can do 16 and then you can write out the word pi. You may see the words as leave exact. And if you're given that, it does mean to leave your answer in terms of pi rather than approximating. Pi goes on forever. And so if we want to leave the exact, that would mean we'd leave it in terms of pi. Which leads us into our second example where it's actually approximating. So it gives us the circumference, but it doesn't leave it in terms of pi, which means that it's been rounded. It's approximated, and it wants our diameter in an approximate. So let's take a look here. We're going to use the same formula, knowing diameter, or looking for diameter. So circumference equals pi times diameter. We're going to substitute what we know. 20 and 4/10 equals pi times diameter. We're going to divide both sides by pi. And in this case, you are going to use the pi button on your calculator because we are trying to find that approximation. And when you divide, you get 6.4935, and it goes on forever for diameter. I'm going to round to the nearest hundredth. So 6.49. 6.49 inches. All right, in this next one, we have C equals 28 inches, and we have R equals something. We need to find what it equals. Since this is an equal sign, it's not asking for the approximation. We need to leave it exact or in terms of pi. So we're going to use c equals 2 pi r. We know c is 28, so 28 equals 2 pi r. We need to divide both sides by 2 pi. When we do that, we can simplify 28 divided by 2 to get 14, and we still have pi in the denominator. So 14 over pi equals r. And that's how we want to make sure we leave it, inches. Here's a nice little joke to end today's lesson. Go ahead and read it over and then start working on the practice. Let me know if you need any help.